I have a mental shortlist of favorite and best characters in fiction, and Root from Person of Interest always rises to the top of both of these lists. Yes, it takes until season 3 for her to become a regular, but even before then, she's easily one of the best parts of the show. She consistently gets some of the best moments and lines in the series, which are all amplified by Amy Acker's incredible performance. She's a cringe fail loser.
Ruh-roh.
She's terrifying. She's gay and a terrible flirt.
And is that why you came to see me?
No.
She's obsessed with an AI.
Look, why don't you ask her what she thinks? She's the one who wants us to bow down to our robot overlords.
The machine isn't a robot, Sam.
She used to kill people for a living.
And I make a killer carrot soup with creme fraiche.
Where else can you find a character quite like this? What makes Root so intriguing is that she's trope recognizable while also consistently defying neat categorization, so you're never tired of watching her. For starters, she's a matryoshka of subverted expectations, all while never feeling cheap or unearned because she maintains her core character.
I don't like taking lives, but I will, because I believe in something more important.
For one, she benefits from an incredible introduction. One of the things that Person of Interest does extremely well are these slow build reveals. I think of Elias in Witness as another early example.
You honestly think we'd go to all this trouble for a witness?
We first meet Root with only her screen name, as this character haunting us in the background. So when we see her face for the first time, we have no idea it's her. Firewall is such an excellent episode, and the uneasy build revealing Turing's identity is one of my favorite stomach drop moments in the show.
John, thank you.
You know something is wrong, and piece it together just before the characters, by which time it is far too late.
You can call me Root.
I get chills every time I watch, even when I know it's coming. So here, we get the first subversion. Obviously, Caroline Turing is a meek and fragile woman.
This must be what panic feels like.
No, actually, she's a deadly and unhinged, terrifying zealot. A cute, delicate exterior masking a powerful, scary, confident underneath. I especially love looking back on the episode with prior knowledge, watching John do his usual comfort the scared woman routine and seeing her play him like a fiddle. This becomes the Root that we know. The antagonist lurking in the shadows, volatile and unpredictable. But then, we get the second subversion. We get to know Root more as she gradually and reluctantly integrates into the team, and we see something new.
And I hope those won't be necessary.
Me too.
Underneath that scary misanthrope, she's also charming, loving, and kind of goofy. And somehow, this all works. These layers are revealed slowly and organically, because while Root is growing, she's not fundamentally changing. And this is a really subtle difference, because the very things that made her a good antagonist also make her a great protagonist. She's passionate, fanatical, persistent, devoted. These qualities make her a great assassin and help her find the machine. They also inform her extreme and sometimes scary dedication to everything. To the machine, but then also to Harold, and Shaw, and the mission. As she develops close relationships for presumably the first time in years, she keeps many of her same qualities. She just channels them differently.
You're a murderer and a thief. You're a brilliant woman. Comrade. And a friend.
Which all makes it feel like revealing her character rather than reinventing it. There's another key ingredient that makes her so intriguing.
You wonder why it won't talk to you like it talks to me.
Root is a villain who achieves her goal. What does she want in season 1? She wants to free the machine and make contact with it.
I will get access to the machine, Harold.
And she gets what she wants. Good for her. She gets what she wants and more. Her beloved deity chooses her. and makes Root her new project.
I've decided to make you my new project.
Well, you really don't have to do that.
And then, by virtue of becoming the machine's analog interface, she's increasingly drawn into Team Machine's orbit.
Do you have a gun now?
What's with you and your poor listening skills? No way.
So, the qualities that made her a villain are still there. It's just that her motives are no longer at odds with the team, because she's gotten what she wanted. And so, when those goals align now, she becomes that archetype of shitlord who still hangs around here.
Oh, and by the way, I'm borrowing your dog.
And thinking about it, I noticed that these are often, though not always, men. So, extra fun that she takes on that role. Root also benefits from being a character built of extremes. For one, this is just a ton of fun to watch. She's this splash of color in whatever scene she enters. And it helps that her entrance is usually heralded by her iconic music motif. Her motif almost reminds me of Azula's. This eerie, unsettling four-note tune, which is almost an inversion of the show's main theme / machine theme. And apparently, this is a big part of what led the writers to want to have her around more. Anyhow, she's big and dramatic and theatrical in whatever direction she's channeling it. So, she deliciously foils what are the intentionally static characters around her, particularly Shaw and John. She's also a great foil for Harold.
When I was a kid, computers made more sense to me than people.
I'm good with computers. People, well, people other than Grace, have always been a mystery to me.
Two people who understand the machine best, but in very different ways.
He will never completely understand the larger picture, not like we do.
In a show about moral complexity, she's probably one of the most morally complex characters. She's got this blue and orange morality that contrasts with Harold's strict, if hypocritical, moral code. John, Shaw, and Harold are all intentionally a lot more grounded and subdued as characters, so Root's high-octane extremes create great contrast. And this isn't just a passive quality, this integrates her into the plot. She's got a wide emotional range and is always observing people, so she develops this chameleon quality that allows her to assume all of these identities. But also, this same quality allows her to hide from herself. When she says to Shaw,
I've been hiding since I was 12.
This is true in more ways than one. So we get to discover who she is alongside her. Root's also got probably the biggest feelings in the show, and views the machine, dispassionate, logical, as the ideal way to be.
All the dumb, selfish things people do. It's not our fault. No one designed us. We're just bad code.
But the thing you built,
It's perfect. Rational, beautiful, by design. The truth is, God is 11 years old. That she was born on New Year's Day, 2002 in Manhattan. The truth is that she's chosen me. And I don't know why yet.
Person of Interest also often plays with a mythological framework, and Root expands it really nicely. Initially, she was a Cassandra figure. She tried to speak up about Hannah and wasn't believed. This motivating event then eventually leads her to gain the ability, via the machine, to make extremely accurate claims.
My friend is never wrong, which is as annoying as that sounds.
It's a really nice bit of poetry. From there, Root's mythological role becomes the Oracle. Typically, the Oracle was a woman who was the vessel for the gods' cryptic messages.
Sundown, Ottawa, left, right, 1, 2, 3.
Any last words?
2, 4, 3, 8, 1.
Whatever.
If the machine is a god, Root is the voice that god has chosen to speak through. So, fittingly, Root becomes maybe the best vehicle for the show's thesis. Like we talked about earlier, her basic qualities stay the same, but they're channeled differently. Root, from the get-go, understands people very well. Initially, She uses this understanding to manipulate people, but as she grows, she uses this understanding to help them. And in doing so, she mirrors her beloved machine. The machine's great powers, predicting people, come from understanding them. One of my favorite quotes from the show is,
"And what is love if not being seen?"
and it's not a one-to-one, of course. Did Root love the people she was observing as an assassin for hire? Probably not. But it's an essential element to love. So it's very fitting that Root's initial rejection of humanity is, ironically, what ends up turning her towards humanity.
In the face of such a struggle, saving one or two people, what difference would that make?
Every life matters. You taught me that.
Because through Root, by turning her into the ultimate I can fix her project, the machine proves her own worldview. People can change. Not always, not inevitably, but they can. The machine leads Root to confront her past, but the change is up to her. This intersection of choice and inevitability is what the show is constantly wrestling with. There will always be larger forces that dictate the range of choices that you have access to. But within that range, you are still responsible for what you do. So Root learns, or relearns, to love humanity through the very machine she idolized for what she perceived as its inhumanity. Root is the ultimate expectation subverter, and then the machine subverts Root's own expectations of it. It all folds in on itself. I think the show still would have been good, even really good, without her inclusion. But Root's screen presence, dynamics with the cast, and her integration with the show's themes makes it better with her than it was without.